In the heart of a dense jungle, away from the curious eyes of passers-by, lies a grim spectacle, etched into the very skin of a solitary elephant. This creature, a towering titan of nature, bears a horrific wound, a deep, festering snake-infested laceration that pulses with life, both grotesque and relentless. What may initially appear as a simple injury quickly reveals itself as a living nightmare. The flesh is torn open, a patchwork of swollen, pale tissue disrupted by writhing serpentine bodies. Tiny snakes squirm into the exposed muscle, their slick scales catching the meager light as they tunnel and twist through the raw, humid flesh. Some are barely the thickness of a human finger, others chunkier, their forked tongues darting with unnerving precision, tasting the air within the wound. Layers of slime and pus create a sheen of disgust, dripping in slow, viscous globs, mixing with clotted blood and decaying skin. The stench is unmistakably rank, a sharp combination of rot, damp earth, and decay that seeps into the very atmosphere surrounding this living open wound. This horrifying condition is not a freak accident, but rather the manifestation of a rare and cruel natural phenomenon: snake infestation in a large mammal. These serpents are not mere parasites. They are opportunistic invaders, exploiting the elephant's misfortune, a weakness caused perhaps by a past predator attack or a fateful misstep in the treachery. In the heart of the American plains, a solitary bison roams, its massive frame a testament to the resilience of nature. But this is no ordinary bison. It bears a gruesome wound, a gaping hole where flesh has been devoured by a relentless swarm of wasps. The sight is both shocking and captivating, drawing the viewer into a world where survival is a brutal game and the rules are dictated by the harsh realities of the wild. As the camera zooms in, the details become horrifyingly clear. The wound is not just a simple injury. It is a nest, a pulsating mass of writhing wasps that have made their home within the bison's very flesh. This grotesque symbiosis raises questions about the balance of life and death, and the often unseen horrors that lurk in the natural world. Wasps, those unassuming insects that flit about our picnics, can become merciless predators when they find a suitable host. In this case, the bison, with its thick hide and massive size, became an unwitting victim. Wasps, drawn to the warmth and moisture of the bison's body, burrowed into its flesh, laying eggs that would hatch into ravenous larvae. As the larvae develop, they feast on the bison's tissue, creating a grotesque spectacle of nature's cruelty. Bison, in its struggle for survival, may not even realize the extent of its infestation until it is too late. The pain and suffering it endures are a stark reminder of the darker side of the animal kingdom, where the line between predator and prey is often blurred. As we delve deeper into this unsettling scenario, we must confront the moral implications of such a relationship. Nature, in its rawest form, is indifferent to suffering. The bison, a symbol of strength and endurance, is reduced to in the icy expanse of the Arctic, where the sun barely pierces the perpetual twilight. A chilling tale unfolds, a tale of survival, suffering, and the grotesque intersection of nature's beauty and brutality. Meet the polar bear, a majestic creature often seen as the embodiment of the frozen wilderness. But today, we encounter a bear that tells a different story, one that is both horrifying and fascinating. This bear, once a symbol of strength, now bears a horrific wound, a gaping, festering sore that reveals a shocking truth. It is infested with snakes. Yes, you heard that right, snakes. As we delve deeper into this dark narrative, prepare yourself for a journey that will challenge your perceptions of nature and its often cruel realities. The infestation begins with a simple, yet insidious act. A snake, perhaps seeking warmth or a place to lay its eggs, finds its way into the bear's thick fur. What starts as a minor irritation quickly escalates into a nightmare. The bear, unable to reach the source of its discomfort, becomes a host to a writhing mass of serpents. These snakes, thriving in the warmth of the bear's body, begin to burrow deeper, feeding on the bear's flesh and leaving behind a trail of destruction. The wound, once a mere scratch, transforms into a grotesque spectacle, a gory reminder of nature's unrelenting cycle of life and death. As the infestation progresses, the bear's health deteriorates. A once proud predator now struggles to hunt, its energy sapped by the relentless assault of its unwelcome guests. The snakes, oblivious to the suffering deep within the shadowed heart of the savanna, where life and death entwine in relentless, violent choreography, There exists a scene that is as grotesque as it is fascinating. A leopard, its spotted hide marred by a wound so vile it seems to mock the very vitality of the beast. This is no ordinary injury. Stretching across its flank, a festering maw of raw flesh pulsates with an eerie life of its own. A dark theater for an infestation that defies comfort. Snakes, swarming, nesting within the open flesh, their sinuous bodies writhing among the exposed tissue in a macabre symphony. The leopard, usually a paragon of stealth and power, is immobilized by agony and thrashing poisons hidden in this wound, a prison of its own venomous tormentors. The snakes, small, venomless, but no less deadly in their persistence, have taken possession of this grotesque injury, exploiting the weakened barrier to colonize the leopard's tissue. The infestation is an unsettling example of parasitism, a stark reminder of how nature can humble even the most formidable of predators. These serpents slither through the fleshy depths, their movements disrupting the healing, feasting on decaying tissue and bodily fluids, turning a natural recovery into slow-moving decay. The wound oozes a putrid cocktail of blood, pus, and something darker, an evolving ecosystem within a single gaping crater. This junction where predator meets predator turns into a disturbing battlefield, not just of survival, but of decomposition and consumption. Over time, the snakes burrow deeper, their scales dragging through muscle and sinew, the repetitive slither sounding a quiet, sinister rhythm against the leopard's labored breaths. The animal's body, designed to fend off such threats, succumbs under the relentless attack of multitude, unable to purge the unwanted guests. Immune responses flood the area with inflammation, an internal war zone of white blood cells versus serpentine invaders. Yet, the infestation thrives, proteins erode, tissues collapse, and life force dwindles. The leopard's piercing gaze, once fierce and vibrant, now flickers with the dull sheen of suffering, trapped in this ghastly coexistence. Yet, as repulsed as we might be, drawn in by the alarm and fascination, the condition offers a grim teaching moment about balance and chaos. This serpentine takeover is not a freak occurrence, but a display of natural cycles, annihilating the strength of an apex predator, reminding us of in the shadowy corners of our world, where nature's beauty intertwines with its darker realities. A tale unfolds that is as shocking as it is poignant. Imagine a dog, once a vibrant companion, now reduced to a pitiful figure, its body marred by a horrific snakebite. The wound, a grotesque gash, oozes with a mixture of blood and venom, a testament to the brutal encounter with one of nature's most feared predators. This is not just a story of injury. It is a chilling reminder of the raw, unfiltered reality of life in the wild, where survival often comes at a gruesome cost. As we delve deeper into this unsettling narrative, we must confront the unsettling truth about snake infestations. These slithering creatures, often misunderstood, can wreak havoc not only on their prey but also on the ecosystems they inhabit. In the case of our unfortunate canine, the snakebite is not merely an isolated incident, it is a symptom of a larger problem. The presence of snakes in an area can indicate an imbalance in the local environment, often driven by human activity. Urban expansion, deforestation, and agricultural practices can disrupt natural habitats, pushing snakes into closer proximity with human dwellings and their beloved pets. The wound on our dog serves as a grim reminder of this imbalance. The venom from the snake, a cocktail of neurotoxins and hemotoxins, begins its insidious work almost immediately. The initial puncture marks the entry point for a deadly invasion, as the venom spreads through the bloodstream, causing tissue necrosis and severe pain. The dog, once full of life, now writhes in agony, its body a battleground between life and death. The sight is not for the faint of heart. The flesh around the bite turns a sickly shade of green, and in the shadowed underbrush of forgotten woodlands, where the sun's reach falters, and creeping vines weave a thick tapestry, a grim spectacle unfolds. A dog, once a creature of lively spirit and boundless energy, now a canvas for nature's grotesque forces. The skin, where it can be seen beneath layers of curling scales and darkened blood, tells a tortured tale, swollen, decaying, and riddled with snake bites. These are not mere punctures. They form a sickening labyrinth of wounds, each one a dark poem of survival and suffering. From these wounds, the forest's silent predators have launched an insidious takeover, transforming the dog into a haunted sanctuary for a reptilian infestation. This dog's body, once warm and vibrant, is now the battleground of a parasitic siege. The snakes, small and serpentine, slither with cold purpose beneath matted fur clotted with grime and pus. Their presence is marked not just by the stings of venom, but by the physical invasion into muscle and bone tissue. The flesh around these wounds rots, a putrid mixture of necrotic decay and swelling fostered by the chemical warfare inside each bite. The animal's body fights back with fever and inflammation, but in vain. The snakes multiply, their scales scraping against raw, exposed sinew. The stench is unmistakable, a dreadful cocktail of iron from blood, and the sour stench of infection hitching a ride on swollen inflammation. To witness this scene is to observe a living nightmare, a grotesque collaboration between predator and parasite enacted